It was a town shrouded in sin, the kind of place where the air itself seemed to conspire against you. Loudon, just saying the name felt like a curse. It had been years since I'd stepped foot in the place, and yet something drew me back, something dark and ancient. The moment I arrived, I could feel it, the weight of history, the thick, oppressive tension that hung over the town like a dark cloud. The people here spoke of a man-father, Urbain Grandier. They said he was a man of great power, both in faith and in sin. But no one spoke of the true horrors that began with him, or the things that had been done to the innocent souls caught in his web. I had heard rumors, whispers of the nuns in the convent, those poor, tormented women who were supposed to be the embodiment of purity. But in the dark corners of the convent, their bodies and minds were twisted by something far more sinister. There were stories of possession voices speaking in tongues, the smell of sulphur and rot, and the unholy actions that followed. I remember the night the whispers turned to screams. They came from the convent, piercing the silence like a knife. My feet carried me there before I even knew what I was doing. The door was ajar, as if it had been waiting for me. Inside, the nuns were gathered, their faces contorted in ways that shouldn't be human. Their eyes, wide and vacant, burned with a feverish madness. It was then that I saw it. Father Grandier, the man they accused of witchcraft, of consorting with the devil himself. But it wasn't the man I had expected. It was something else, something worse. The way he looked at them, with a smile that was both arrogant and knowing. He wasn't just a man anymore, he had become something darker. And it was then that I realized the truth. It wasn't just the nuns who were possessed, it was the entire town. The very land seemed to pulse with an evil force, a force that had begun with one man, but now held them all in its grip. The walls closed in as the nuns began to chant, their voices growing louder and more dissonant, as though something was trying to claw its way out of them. The air was thick with heat, and the smell of burning flesh filled the room. I could feel the presence of something old and vengeful hovering just beneath the surface of reality. Father Grandier's laugh echoed in the chamber. It wasn't a laugh of a man, but of something ancient, something not of this world. You think you can save them? He taunted, his voice dripping with malice. There's no saving this town. The devil has already claimed it. My heart raced, and for a moment I wondered if I was losing my mind. Was it all real? Was it the devil himself, or was it just the madness of men, twisted by fear and power? But the scream that followed, the scream of the nuns, distorted and unnatural, left no room for doubt. This was no ordinary possession. It was something far worse, a plague not just of the mind, but of the soul. As the room darkened, I saw them, the shadows, writhing against the walls. They whispered my name, calling me to join them in their madness. I tried to run, but my legs wouldn't move. It felt as though the very air was pushing me back, forcing me to witness the horrors that were unfolding in front of me. And then, in the midst of it all, I saw the devil's face grinning from the shadows, a face I had known all along. Father Grandier had opened the gates, and now it was too late to close them. The last thing I remember is the flames rising from the altar, the sound of chanting filling my ears, and the cold, sickening grip of something pulling me under. The town of Loudon had become a graveyard, and the only thing left to do was watch as it was consumed by the inferno of its own damnation.